Hey guys, it's Luke breaking down the NBA DFS slate for tonight. We're going to be bringing you guys the top three game targets for tonight, as well as my top three value plays to help you guys get a grasp on what's going on for tonight, obviously before a lot of the news breaks. So this will be from a very top level, games to target, some of the obvious value plays and whatnot. And with that being said, let's hop into my game targets. So number one tonight in my game targets is going to be the Wizards at the Sacramento Kings, which has a 236 over-under, making it the highest on the slate. And it's also one of the closer spreads as well, with the Wizards only being favored by 2 points. With those two reasons right there, those are the main reasons I like the game. It's going to be close, it's going to be high scoring. And obviously, if the game is close, I do expect the total in the game to go even higher than 236. Probably has potential to reach 260 if the game's close, like I said. And there's going to be a lot of value on the Kings side with Richaun Holmes out. We don't necessarily know who's going to start yet. It's one of the later games. Actually, I think it's one of the 10 o'clock games tonight. But I would expect Hassan Whiteside to start. Again, we don't know, so I don't want to speculate too much, but he could be a great value play given the Holmes injury. And I also expect Russell Westbrook to have a monster game. He put up a triple-double last time out. He's been doing it pretty much every single game. And in a game as high-paced as this, I do expect him to come out and do that again. So those are some of my top-level thoughts there. High pace, high-scoring game. I'll be targeting it a lot tonight. My number two game target is going to be the Brooklyn Nets at the Philadelphia 76ers, which has a 228 game total, which is pretty respectable. But the 76ers are favored by 7 points, which is a pretty high spread. Now, a lot of this is due to James Harden being out, also with Kyrie Irving being out, which, again, it hurts their chances to win, but they're still going to have Kevin Durant. They still have all those pieces that they added around the trade deadline, and I do expect the game to be a little bit closer than Vegas thinks. So there's going to be a lot of value built in there. It's already a high total game, and again, if it's competitive, I expect it to be even a higher scoring game. So it's a good spot to target because it won't necessarily be a very mainstream thought tonight. I also like the chances for people like Claxton to play well tonight. We'll get to him in a little bit more detail here in a second. But if the game does blow out, obviously some of those key, bench players or role players are going to play well for the team that gets blown out. So I like the situation there. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But my last game target is going to be the Pacers at the Rockets. That is a 233 game total, making it the second highest on the slate. And the Pacers are favored by just 5 points, which, if you've been following the Rockets over the last month, that's a bit surprising. So, again, the line's not going to be as big because Christian Wood's back, and Christian Wood is an absolute animal. When the Rockets have him on the court, they look like a completely different team. They actually win games every once in a while. When Christian Wood was out, they didn't win a game. They went 0, I think it was like 10, 15. I don't know how many games they played exactly, but I know they didn't win any games. With them back, they've won a game. They've played a lot of competitive games, and the Rockets are still priced down for that poor play. When they were playing super poorly, their starters weren't getting a lot of minutes. They were getting pulled early. A lot of the backups were playing well. So you see a lot of the value on the Rockets is overpriced, and then you see a lot of the starters are underpriced right now. So I think that's a situation to take advantage of, especially if they keep the game close tonight. Again, the Pacers are still favored. It's 5 points. It's nothing crazy. And I think it's a good game to sprinkle in some game stacks on. Again, if it stays close, it's already a high total. It's going to go even higher. And I think it's a good situation to take advantage of, especially in a large field tournament. Now moving on to our value plays for tonight. These are going to be some of the early value plays before the news breaks. We aren't necessarily sure of who's starting, who's not. So obviously keep in mind that things are going to change a lot. But regardless of what happens, these three players are going to be part of the value tonight. They aren't dependent on whether they start or not. The rules are carved out already. They're pretty consistent. And again, these are guys you can fall back on if that value doesn't open up later on. But I expect it to, so just keep that in mind. Number one's going to be Facundo Campazzo, who's a point guard or shooting guard from the Denver Nuggets, and he's coming in at $3,700. So Jamal Murray is out for the year, we know that. But that doesn't mean that Campazzo is just immediately going to step into the starting lineup. More than likely, it is going to be Monte Morris, who's priced up a little bit higher. DraftKings also has adjusted for that. But Facundo Campazzo had a role even when Jamal Murray was playing. He was playing 15 plus minutes in every single game, usually closer to 20. Again, Monte Morris was still around, and now that Murray's out and there's that 34 minutes that are up for grabs, I do expect Campazzo to absorb a good amount of them. Even if he doesn't start, I expect him to play 25 plus minutes. Again, he's been close to a point per minute player, so you like to see that. And at $3,700, that makes him a very stable, very high floor type value, and I like to see that. That's why he's my number one value play tonight. Again, if he does start and he has a good game on a point per minute basis, he could break the slate, right? So that potential's still there. And best of all, he's shooting guard eligible, so we're going to be able to play him at shooting guard. He doesn't have to take up that valuable point guard slot, and that's why I like him tonight. My number 2 value play for tonight is going to be Kevon Looney. That's a center for the Golden State Warriors, and he comes in at the same price, $3,700. And what I like about Looney is that he's very, very likely to start tonight. And again, even if he doesn't start, he's still going to see 25, 26 plus minutes if Juan Toscano Anderson ends up getting the start instead. So he's not the most productive player, but again, he's productive because he sees so many minutes. Last time out, he saw 30 minutes. He scored 22 plus fantasy points. Again, that's great for a $3,700 price tag. And I think it's a good idea because spending down at center will be a bit contrarian tonight. A lot of the value, especially on the net side, and a lot of the other people that are questionable tonight are guards. So there's going to be a lot of value with the guards tonight, it seems. So being able to spend down at center may make your lineup a little bit more contrarian. So I like that as well. And I think Looney's a very safe option tonight. And my last value play for tonight is going to be Nicholas Claxton, center for the Brooklyn Nets. I know I mentioned him before. I promised we'd get to him, and here we are. And he's coming in at $3,100, so super cheap, almost the minimum, just $100 more than that minimum on DraftKings. And the reason why I like him is obviously the blowout risk I talked about before. If the game blows out, it's already a 7-point spread, then he's going to see plenty of run. But even if the game stays close, I do expect him to be productive and to see at least, let's say, 18 minutes. I have him projected for 20 right now. He's been playing 17, 18 most games. But now that you have 2 of their star players out, Irving and Harden, that's a lot of minutes to distribute. And it's not going to distribute all to their guards, obviously. They don't have super quality guards behind them that they're comfortable starting for 30, 34 minutes. I expect some of those minutes to trickle out into some of their forwards, centers even. People like Nicholas Claxton, right? So he's safe to me to see 20 minutes tonight. He's been scoring at a 1.1 fantasy point per minute basis this month. Usually with the backups and with the starters, he actually scores better. He scores at a 1.3 fantasy point per minute basis, mostly due to his players actually being able to pass him the ball. So I love him tonight. I think he's versatile. Again, high floor kind of value. And again, if he somehow plays 25 plus minutes, he's going to break the slate. So I love those 3 value plays. Let me know in the comments who you guys are going to be playing for value tonight. Obviously, if some news comes out, you'll be playing those guys and whatnot. But let me know who your favorite targets are for right now. And like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this content. And I'll see you next time.